need to introduce an additional person that wasn't here when we started, and that's Alex Felsen, who's Professor of Landscape from the University of Melbourne. And we might move to you, Sijing, I think, to present the work that you did in this last semester at the University of Melbourne.
Okay, hi everyone again. Thanks, Chris, for this opportunity. Alex is not here yet, so I'm just going to talk about the studio I taught second semester last year. I don't have a formal presentation like Jean, like Chris organized, and then also Ross, and then Catherine organized. But I'm going to show you what I did and what I have done in this studio. I'm going to share my screen very quickly here. Yeah. So this is my first time running this GR studio. You got a topic called Ecoservices. It's a regional studio. It's about the whole region, and then the central topic is teaching students how to use geospatial tools like ArcGIS to develop regional models for regional landscape capacity and suitability assessment, and apply that as assessment to a real situation. It could be the whole Great Ocean Road region or part of it, and then propose some design outcome. Of course, you have to select a topic beforehand. The topic could be anything related to eco-services for the Great Ocean Road region. And then finally, they have to evaluate and visualize some of the potential impacts of their design proposal. And of course, I'm going to share with you very quickly about the region, the readings, urban. We use a lot of the readings from the Foreman's Urban Region book, and yeah, this is the whole site we have. We don't have like a very specific site along the Great Ocean Road, but also about the whole region, the big region. And then yeah, we got a series of lectures, but I would like to let you know the whole semester's 12 teaching weeks. We have almost half of the 12 teaching weeks dedicated to introduce the GIS techniques to students, because students come into the studios don't have any background in this, and then let alone to use this to collect data, synthesize data, and doing overlay analysis to propose the proposals. And I'm going to quickly share another screen with you. Is the students' work that is the MSD website is have everything, including the brief of the studio and also students' work. I'm going to show you a few students' work like this one. Jia Tong, he looked at the bush file in the Great Ocean Road, looking at the historical bushfire events along that region, and then collect a whole lot of data and doing a model to imagine if you have a bushfire start somewhere like this, and incorporating the climate data, topographic data, vegetation data, and all those data to simulate how the bushfire will spread. So that is and then kind of delineate the regions that will be affected, and where you're going to propose a fire break and integrate that fire break with the road infrastructure and all those things, and including some of the evacuation grant design on a smaller scale. So the project looks across, starting with the regional scale and look across a range of scales to a site scale to propose some of the solutions, but all focused on the same topic, the bushfire as a disservice in terms of the studio topic, the planning for eco-services. And there's quite a few very interesting projects. And then another one is Toby. He is from the Great Ocean Road region, from one of the local councils, and looking at the biodiversity conservation. It started with the composition of the landscape in terms of the vegetation type and the net use type, and then from a kind of a sampler composition, and look at the region, whether you can apply that composition into the region, because in the region you can imagine the regional pattern. You have the agri ecosystem, and you have the whole bushfire vegetation, the bush and forest land here, and then in between you have an ecotone, kind of a mix of both, and then take advantage of that, and then looking at the whole conservation plan, and from the regional to some selected area of the interest to design using the EVC type, and then try to come up with a design strategy of both maintaining the agriculture, forestry, but also looking at the ecological biodiversity conservation across the whole region. And then I would like to show you another, Adam Noho. He look at the water process, which is very important in the ecosystem, because a lot of this hydrological processes are invisible. Of course, you can see the rainfall and see the runoff on the surface, but beyond this, there's a lot of things that are invisible. And this student take one step further to look at the whole hydrological process, from the precipitation to the groundwater processes, and then looking at the water yield, because in this region, the water, I would say, is the kind of a limiting factor to a lot of ecological process, including agricultural productivity in this region. He did a model for this watershed, and then use that regional assessment outcome to propose some detailed design, as you can see from this sections and perspectives, and integrating not only the hydrological processes, the ecological process, but also some kind of civic hydrology as a concept. So the hydrological process is not only as an ecological process, but also can include the culture. And then, for example, where people are going to spend their holiday, and then maybe in some of those areas. If there's time, I can show more. One is Priya. I did another topic, ecotourism, as as you can see from many of the previous presentation. And this is a very traditional site inventory, but again, at the regional level, a lot of data collection, data analysis, including using the AHV process to figure out the weight when you do the weighted overlay, which factor where have how much weight in the overlay process, and then come up with some hotspots site for tourism planning and design. And finally, choose one of the eco hubs within the forest, and also organize a lot of activities, including the day activity and the night activities in this region, to enhance people's ecotourism experience in that region. Yeah, this is the whole thing is I think it's available to anyone. If you want to jump onto his website at the MSGX, you have architecture studio and landscape studio, and my studio is the only studio, only landscape studio focused on the Great Ocean Road. And you can see there's many more projects along the Great Ocean Road, and they are focused on the kind of eco-services at the regional scale. Yeah.
Thank you, Siqing. Thank you. That's some very impressive work, and it's I mean, it just to me also emphasizes the question that was asked of Catherine and Ross about how we not so much how we ensure what happens is a continuous set of studios at a time within a certain university, but how we manage to make sure that all of this work underpins in the most effective way any work that happens from here on. And what I'd like to do with you, Siqing, is work out the best way for us to be able to make those linkages on the website, so that at least there is a single repository. But we'll come back to talk about all of that as we progress. Any quick questions? Anything you want to add? Yeah. You have to actually grab a mic.
All right, thanks, Siqing. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we're doing with the Siqing and then Ray Green also, and I have been sort of coordinating around doing this regional analysis that Siqing has worked on, and then shifting into site planning. So Ray this semester is coordinating with the tutor or the person that helps Siqing put together the maps, and to taking that forward within, at least within the University of Melbourne, to target Apollo Bay and one other location, I believe.
Lord.
Yeah, Lord.
Lord.
So yeah, I think that the hope, and I appreciate you know, the work that you're doing in terms of organizing this broader group, which I think is actually very admirable, I would say, and probably a bit difficult, but
it sounds like yes. Well, that sounds a bit like something from Yes Minister.
Okay. Well, I think that internally within landscape architecture, we're quite interested in applying analytical mapping strategies to understand some of the risks, and then taking that forward into spatial planning and design thinking. So hopefully that we can continue to develop that further, and in a small way, we're starting to put together the skills within our university.
Great. Look, again, reprising something we'll come back to, but many of us here, virtually and present, sat in a similar meeting in Europe a bit ago, and really thought that in 21 we were probably going to see an opportunity for us to actually get students into the region, etc. And clearly that didn't happen, and here we sit again, and we'll shortly talk about work for the second semester, when we again have some optimism about the potentiality for making these much more connected and real experiments, visions, and analysis. And we only hope that's true, but it is interesting that Ray Green, who Alex mentioned, is right at this moment is in Lorne taking photographs on the expectation that students might not in this first semester really be mostly able to get to the site, so that it's well documented by those photographs and move forward. But before we come to that kind of discussion,